So, good evening. Welcome back to another show. Tonight, I'm John. I've got two guests tonight who going to talk about Championship finals on Saturday. So, I've got a Swansea fan, Ben Church, Jack Army. How are you doing, Ben?
Brilliant, mate. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. And I've got a Brentford fan called JatinGuntupalli, if I announced it right. Good evening to you.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. A little bit nervous. Thanks for having me on.
No, that's absolutely fine, Jatin's fantastic. So we're going to talk about Saturday's game between Brentford and Swansea in the Championship playoff finals at Wembley, and it should be a canny game. So, and guys, if you do like the videos, could you please smash the likes up, subscribe if you're new, and also follow Ben and Jatin on their Twitter account. And yeah, they both sounds great lads. And I got Claude, top round corner sort of thing. Rest in peace, Claude. And we're going to miss him all the time. I do miss him on AFTV. So Saturday, I'm going to start with Ben. The massive game on Saturday. How nervous are you?
Not too nervous yet. I'm sure on the bus ride down to Wembley, I'm going to be a lot more nervous. I think Swansea probably are the underdogs. Brentford, especially in the game at Liberty Stadium, had the better of us despite the game ending 1-1. It'll be a clash of styles. Swansea will probably look to keep the game tight, maybe try to grind the result out in a draw, maybe into extra time. Brentford will probably look to control the tempo, control the ball a lot more. So I think maybe there's a bit less pressure on us because I think Brentford possibly they could lose 2 playoff finals back to back. Maybe that'll be playing on their minds. I'm not sure. But no, I'm not too nervous. I think I'm more excited than anything right now.
Yeah, seeming confident at the moment in time, sort of thing. That was the sort of thing Newcastle played in the playoff finals. I'll be absolutely nervous if I'm honest with you. You know what I mean? So I just do not know with the Cotton squad they've got what Newcastle's going to turn up, sort of thing. But that's another idea. But with your manager Steve Cooper, and I think so for a couple of seasons now, he's done well for you.
Yeah, I think he has as well. The style of play is, some of the fan base don't really like the way we play as much as, maybe some others do. You go back to the way we played in the Premier League as perhaps a bit of a false narrative that we still play that style of football. We don't really. We have a lot less of the ball. We are more direct at times, depending on who we're playing against. I think that you'll see that against Brentford probably. But no, listen, first 2 seasons in senior football for him, or senior management for him, and to get 6th place for the first season, 4th place this year. Again, you think Swansea we're probably spending a lot, but we actually aren't because I think finances have been quite poor since coming down. We've only spent about £2.5 million since Cooper's came in 2 years ago. So he is overachieving. There's no doubt about that, and you can see that's reflected in some of the links he's getting in the media. He's been linked to the Palace job, for example, to replace Roy Hodgson. So yeah, he's earning his plaudits and it's well deserved.
Yeah, I think as a young manager as well, Steve Cooper, very, very good young manager as well, is destined for great things, and hopefully he keep going. I hope he stays with you guys, and don't get to Crystal Palace. I've got Jatin, Brentford fan, and how's your season? How do you feel, and how do you think your game is going to go?
So the season was okay. I think we lost Ollie Watkins and Ben Ramos. We did lose 40 goal contributions between them, but obviously our recruitment proved brilliant once again. Ivan Toney's single-handedly done it both, so it's been an okay season. Obviously, it's as it is Brentford. We went 22 games unbeaten, and then we went on a streak losing six games in 7, and then we just had a poor sort towards the end of the season. Then obviously against Bournemouth in the semi-final of the playoffs. Obviously the first leg we were not the best, and Bournemouth may have been should have had 2 or 3 in that game. But obviously in that second leg, I don't think there's a football fan that didn't tune into that game. That was a brilliant performance from Brentford, and I think the momentum was all with us. But ahead for Saturday, I think in the end, I will be probably more nervous when I'm driving towards the game and, getting in the stadium. But I think for now, I think I'm just going to enjoy being back in the stadium. And, I think the lads will enjoy it too. I think one of our players had their press conference there and he said, the players are enjoying it. And I think they just got to enjoy it and not let that pressure sort of get to them. Because in the end, I think last season the pressure got to us and you can tell we didn't play anywhere near what we could. We had 1 chance in the game. But yeah, we didn't have any sort of quality about us in the last year final. So I think for this coming Saturday, we're just going to have to try and relax and let our football play for itself. So I think we lived up to the occasion last year. We tried to play the occasion and not the game. And I think it's going to be a tough one. But I think obviously Swansea could try and get revenge for last season. Obviously that was a big semi-final and brilliant for us again, our final home game. But yeah, I think I'll be more nervous towards it. But right now, I think I'm content and relaxed about it. I'm trying to keep relaxed, otherwise I'd start stressing out too much.
Yeah, I get the feeling. I feel sorry for you two guys having to go to the final, man. But a big well done to you guys anyway. But yeah, I mean, like Brentford's played some cracking stuff under Thomas Frank, and he's such a highly rated manager, sort of thing. And I'm amazed that no one has been after him because he's such a young, talented manager that plays good football. And do you think he's being linked with any other clubs at in the Premier League, Crystal Palace, maybe?
I think there was a bit of discussion, when Watford inevitably sacked another manager. I think he was linked with that job for, I don't know if it was serious links or it was just, the rumor mills going around, but he was linked with the Watford job. Obviously, it was mid-season. He was doing well with Brentford, so I don't think there was ever seriousness to those rumors, but I don't think he's ever been linked. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know what? If the longer he stays with us, the good. Obviously, our fan base is quite split. With him, some people don't think he's good enough. Some people thought that with the squad we had this season and last season that we should have gone up automatically. And there's some thinking that that we've just had rough injuries and that's it. And obviously the fan base is split right now. But I think Thomas Frank has done very well. Obviously, previous managers, Dean Smith, most notably, he's doing very well at Villa right now. But even he didn't get Brentford on this sort of form, but he didn't even have the players for that. So Thomas Frank hasn't been linked with big jobs. But I do think if Brentford do go up, then I think maybe clubs may take a look into him more. But yeah, either way, it's the longer he's at Brentford for however long we want him is the better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed sort of thing, but I hope he stays with Brentford for quite a long time. I heard people that he's been splitting the fans in the middle. I just cannot understand why they're splitting the fans because I think Thomas Frank's done a fantastic job. I do like him. He's such a character. He does his interviews as well. I've noticed that. And yeah, man. And you got a canny stadium as well at Brentford as well. I mean, when that stadium's full, I think the fans will be absolutely amazing at your club, sort of thing. You got Miss Griffin Park, haven't you? You got Miss Griffin Park.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone will. I've been in a position that I think everyone misses Griffin Park, and I went today to collect my tickets for the Wembley final. So obviously, I drove past the stadium, and it's sad to see, all the years of history sort of being torn up. But I think in the end, if we want to progress further as a club, and I think you gotta make those sacrifices. That I think every club now, if you want to make it in big, you have to make sacrifices. And I think for us, we had to sacrifice Griffin Park for that. And obviously, some fans didn't want to do that. But obviously, I think if you want the club to go forward, then you have to sort of make that sacrifice. And Griffin Park was that, and we won't know that's the right one until we try it.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, any new stadium. Moving to new stadium is absolutely fantastic. It's ambitious as well, and he's got to move with the times. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. You're gonna miss the original, but you have to go for the new ones as well, sort of thing. Like haven't ignored you, Ben. Don't worry. I've got some comments as well. I've got any injury news on Rico Henry and Da Silva, and that goes to you, Jatin.
Rico Henry. The weird one about Rico Henry is that he came in the first leg and then he got subbed on after Bournemouth scored, and then for the second leg he disappeared. Well, we don't know why. So obviously Frank's press conference is tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow we'll find out why he's out. So Rico Henry's a maybe. I think you'll have to find out tomorrow in Brentford if he's actually going to be in the game. Josh Da Silva's definitely out. I think he's had his he had a hip operation, I think, recently. So he's definitely not going to be available unless by some miracle. I don't think he'll be available for the final. So yeah, Rico Henry's the doubt, but I think everyone else other than Josh Da Silva and Rico Henry are fully fit for the game.
Cool. Great stuff. I've got a Bristol City fan on. Hello, lads. Annie, hope you're canny. Yeah, he's on me chat all the time, Annie. He's a fantastic young lad. He's only 13. Bless him. Wonderful lad. And I've got little lad as well again. What are your thoughts on Vitaly Janet? And is he ready for the Premier League?
So yeah, I saw that. Vitaly's honestly my favourite player at the club. I rate him to bits, and I think if Tony didn't have such an incredible season, I'd put Yano as our player of the season. He's been absolutely immense in us for the midfield, and for £500,000, you can't go wrong with that. And is he ready for the Premier League? In the end, I think he's doing brilliantly for us right now. And I hope if we do go up on Saturday that he can do a job in the Premier League. But obviously, the Premier League and Championship are different levels of quality. So I don't know if I hope he's ready, and because I have such ratings for the guy, but we won't know until we see it, whether that's with Brentford or with someone else.
Fair enough. Fantastic. Go back to Ben. Ben, I mean, you played, like I said, you played 4-3-3. I mean, who's impressed you this season for Swansea City?
Oh, I mean, there's quite a few. I think personally, my favourite player this season's been Mark Gahey, on loan centre back from Chelsea. He's been the best centre back in the league, bar none, in my opinion. And there's been quite a few good contenders for that claim this season. Now, seriously, everything he does on the ball, like he's very two-footed, 1v1 situations. He almost always comes out on top. He isn't even the tallest, but he has a good leap on him, so he doesn't struggle in the air by any means. Great progressive runs with the ball, surprisingly, and it's not really something you say from a centre back that often. Like it would shock me if he isn't in the Premier League one way or another next season, whether that's with us or whether it's on loan with someone else. There's even some rumours that he could get him the chance at Chelsea. He's done that well this season. I don't really think I need to talk about how good Andre Ayew's been for us. I think everyone remembers him as all Premier League fans will know what he did in the Premier League, particularly more so for Swansea than West Ham. But no, I mean he stands out amongst everyone when you see him play. Andre Ayew, you can tell he's a class above. So yeah, probably those two players. I could, there's been a few others, but those two especially, they're Premier League quality players and good Premier League players as well.
Wow, I tell you what though, talk about Andre Ayew as well. He's on a lot. He's on £100,000 a week.
80 grand a week it is, yeah. It's impossible to ignore, isn't it? Like at the Championship, I'm trying to think how many players have been on that sort of money. I think Mitrovic may have been on 100k a week at Fulham when they were down there, but other than that, I think it's more of a case of we came down, loaned him out to Fenerbahce, and everyone kind of thought that was it. We weren't going to see him again. But he came back, and he probably didn't have the offers. We probably didn't have. We probably did have some clubs coming after him on loan, maybe, but they may have been only covering 30k of his wages, making these numbers up. But obviously, a good enough offer didn't come in, so we decided to give him a go. And then the attitude he displayed, it's been second to none, and that really has galvanised the rest of the dressing room. He is a role model for all of the younger players in the squad to follow. And yeah, you can't ignore that he's on 80k a week. It's a lot more than most players at this level, definitely. But you see a lot with these players who come down from the Premier League on these wages. A lot of the time they're not motivated. I'm thinking of Sunderland in particular. They had quite a few big earners. A lot of them weren't really bothered. Andre Ayew, he's leading that the opposite. He's been absolutely sensational on and off the pitch since coming back into the fray.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right, sort of thing. I mean, if he gets you up, then 80 grand would just be chicken feed at the end of it because the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? So they ain't gonna bother back the money. It's just get back in the Premier League. So I've got some more comments coming in as well. That's for Jatin. If you go up, your midfield's good enough for the Premier League. De Silva, Norgard, Janelt, Jensen. Would you be comfortable with
that? As I said, you never know. Obviously, you need recruitments. We need more players. Definitely, I don't think 5 or 6 midfielders would be enough. Obviously, our recruitment is very good. So I would hope the Premier League, Brentford have plans for whether we're going to be in the Premiership, hopefully, or whether we're going to be back in the Championship. So we may need a few more. We definitely need more experience in our side, just to make sure. Because in the end, if we do go up next season, our expectation would be to avoid relegation. So we maybe need experience here, maybe older signings that we need to get through. But is that midfield good enough? We don't know. That with anything in the Premiership, it's unpredictable. So saying would that midfield survive, I've got no clue, honestly. And I'll only see if hopefully we go up this season. I can see can these players survive in the Premiership. But I think we'll definitely need investment into the squad. You couldn't take it'd be very rare a Championship squad could go up, no investment at all, and survive because there are tough teams above us, obviously battling relegation. So I definitely expect investment to be made if we do go up.
Yeah, let's hope so, sort of thing as well, because you got some cracking players there. You beat us as well, by the way, Brentford reserves in the Carling Cup. I mean, just quickly, you watched the game against Newcastle. How were you impressed in Newcastle United when we played you at your stadium?
Well, to be fair, you did have quite a few good chances. Obviously, the thing you have to be aware in Newcastle that yes, you haven't been the best during the Prem, but obviously a low Prem team is still a very strong side against a Championship squad. And obviously, if I remember, the Newcastle game came in between some tough games we had in the league. So it was a very, strong. There was quality amongst Newcastle, you could tell, and there was some times that you did cut us apart, but obviously didn't have that final touch. But I think Brentford just dug in, and when they got the chance, Josh Silva just took it, and that was the end of that. And I think Newcastle definitely showed their quality during the game, but I think they just didn't take any take any of their chances. And I think if you did, if you did have probably a better strike up front, or you did have, a little bit more quality about you on the day, that you probably would have won that 2-3-0. But I think in the end that Brentford just sort of dug in and sort of got the goal, and that's all we needed in the end.
Yeah, I thought you were excellent that game, sort of thing. We made you look like prime Barcelona that year. Let's be real about it, you know what I mean? But we were absolutely rubbish at that year. That's when Stevie should have got sacked. He should have got sacked before that sort of thing. But again, it's not for today. I've got Claire Williams as well. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing great. Claire, she's a Manchester United fan. I really saw that her team lost last night in Europa League. And better luck this time, basically. But I thought they were poor, if I'm honest with you, sort of thing. 2 chances on goal ain't good enough. And I think you kind of know that. Oh, I've got some more comments here, by the way. If I just get back up there. And if I just go back. Because just going to rattle these comments as well if I can. I'll do a Brentford go up, but I don't really mind. Because every single time these Euro clubs go straight back, dude, that's from happy feet. I've got, as well, Roberts or Darmsgaard. Roberts
different players, aren't they? I think she means Connor Roberts, I assume. I don't think there's a Roberts for Brentford, but no, Roberts is, he's more of a wing back than a full back, to be honest. I think, I'm probably not best placed to answer about Dalsgaard. I'll leave that, but,
Yeah.
I know they're similar positions, but Connor Roberts is more of he's a bit of an athlete, to be honest. Like, he doesn't stop running at all. Very good, key passes in the final third, that sort of thing. I'm not sure Dalsgaard is that sort of fullback to get up and down the flank so much. But, second opinion, maybe.
Yeah, fair enough. And do you agree with Damsgaard? I mean, he plays at the back, doesn't he? He plays at in 3 centre-backs, doesn't he?
No, so I think he does normally play right back, but obviously with the injuries we've had, he did. I think during the second leg, he did play across. He did play as a third centre-back. So very different players, I'd agree with that. Dalsgaard is pretty much a mainstay right back. He He is quite good going forward, but I think defensively he is probably his best place. And very 2 different players. But I think if you had to do like a combined 11, you'd probably have Connor Roberts there instead of Dalsgaard.
Yep, fair enough. I've got to do a combined 11 next season. I must do that, but I've been told not to bother because the Newcastle players haven't been that great. I mentioned Newcastle. This is a championship program, man. But I've got Claire again. She's from Swansea. It would be great to have Swansea back in the Premier League, and that'll go to you, Ben.
Yeah, obviously it would be great. I mean, I'm not really sure much more I can add to that, but it's been 3 years away. I think there's a bit of pressure not to win this game because you're looking at Andre Ayew, Geehy, Woodman, Hourihane, probably going to lose those 4 players, maybe even Steve Cooper if we lose this game. There's a lot riding on it, definitely. So, it would be excellent if we can win.
Yeah, that's for your sake. It's also there. Got Happy Feet again. You tell us your first name, mate, and then I'll call by your first name. I've got Happy again. First off, for Stoke needing to sell their stadium, and I don't know. Heard that? I mean, did you hear about that, guys? Stoke.
I think he's referring to they've just done their balance sheets. I think they did the FFP trick possibly where they sold the stadium to their own owner so they could avoid financial fair play. I'm assuming that's what it is. They'll still be in their own stadium, I'm sure. Like their owners are ridiculously rich. There's no way they'll be without the Bet365 stadium, I'm sure.
Yeah, that Tone Coates as well as the owner of the club, sort of, and he's in his 80s, that guy. I'll tell you, he's still going strong. Yeah. So, and at least we beat Swansea. Yeah, that's what.
What a game that was.
What was the score then? 2-1, 3-1.
3-1 it was, and it was weird. I think I'm trying to remember exactly what the score was at half time. Maybe 0-0 half time, 1-1 half time, something like that. But we played really well in the first half. And then second half, I think we had Casey Palmer, who was playing for Bristol City. We'd had him on loan earlier in the season, and he scored directly from a corner against us. So there was that, it was that sort of game. And we had Freddie Woodman, who's been excellent this season. He had a bit of a howler for one of the goals, though. So, fair play. They did beat us that day. I think they struggled for the most part of the season. That was the frustrating thing because, I think they ended up in about 17th, 18th, if I remember right.
Wow. They were not good. I think Nigel Pearson picked them up anyway, sort of thing. I got Lena as well. Janelt, 500k is the biggest deal ever. Do you agree with that one?
Definitely. 500k. There's no. He could play in every single team in the championship. There's no team he would not get into. That's a fact. There's no team that someone could argue with that he doesn't start in. He's been immense this season, and you know what? For £500,000, how many signings could we say for £500,000 or even close to that mark has done the impact that he's done this season?
Wow, not very many. Oh, but you got a cracking scouting network at the club. You really have. And wow, just keep it going because you embarrass our scouting network. I'm telling you. I got Tom. This one got a question for one of you guys. Are you happy with the England squad for the Euros? And what 7 players would you get rid of the squad?
I mean, I'm Welsh. I think I'll leave that one.
Go on, Janet. It's up to you, mate.
Obviously, I think the squad. It doesn't matter what squad he picks. I think he's always going to get criticism. I think Gareth Southgate, the England job is a poison chalice in the sense that everyone has such different ideas. And you know what? Gareth Southgate took us to a semi-final at the Euros, and even in the end, people were still criticizing him because we didn't face because obviously when we faced Croatia and Belgium, we didn't live up to it. But obviously, the squad is very good, and I think if I had to remove some players, I think Ramsdale would probably be one. Ben White, Tyrone Mings, Henderson. I'm trying to remember the squad now. James Ward-Prowse. Then you'd get rid of Watkins and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I think that's 6 or 7, and I think it's hard to know without the squad being there. But obviously, it's going to be very tough. You know, most of the players on there are through merit. I think Jordan Henderson, obviously, he's just come back from injury, so I think the only reason he'd maybe take him is for the leadership and stuff. But I think it's going to be tough either way. He could remove anyone, and I think someone's going to have criticism about it. So I think it's just taking the best of ones that suit his system in. And if Trent's obviously the big one, that will he take him? Will he not? If Gareth Southgate doesn't think Trent will suit his system, then I'd rather him not to. I don't want Gareth Southgate to take Trent just because he'll face backlash from fans or the media. I want Gareth Southgate to go on his own. If he messes up, he messes up, and that's it. And you know what? We get rid of him and find someone new. But I think Gareth Southgate's got to make his own mind up, and he's got to ignore the fans on this. And that's a very, very strong thing to say, to ignore the fans. But obviously, in the end, it's his job in the end that he's gonna live and die by his decisions. So if he leaves Trent at home, I'll question it. But if he has a plan in his mind and he doesn't think Trent's working for that, then fair enough. But I think it's a good squad. I don't think there's many changes you could really make. Maybe Bamford, and maybe Tony. I think Tony may have been an outside chance, but obviously championship players don't really get that shout. But it's a good squad, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do this summer. And I think I've got to wait for the 26th and see what Gareth Southgate actually picks.
Fingers crossed. And let's hope he picks. He's basically saying that he thinks 23 is the north. He goes and picks 33 players, sort of thing. But it'd be interesting to see who he picks. And whoever's been left out, then they should be disappointed because there's always time to come back again. And what about your Welsh team, Ben? Is yours been named yet, or?
Provisionally, I mean, a couple of odd ones. You had Hal Robson-Khan, who, I'm sure a lot of people remember his goal against Belgium from the last Euros, possibly the Cruyff turn. He retired prematurely from international football, then came back into the fray a year or two ago, and he's actually been left out of the training camp. So even though he did play a couple of friendlies in the Nations League, I believe he played in, I think they've sort of said, they've kind of signalled to him, you retired, you kind of only came back for the Euros possibly, so they've left him out. And another one, I'm not sure any people will know him. I mean, Will Vaulks at Cardiff. He's a decent player. Maybe not exactly, the way Wales look to play, but you had a couple of really young players who have been included in this Wales camp who aren't going to get selected for the final squad. And they've left Will Vaulks at home. Seems a bit odd. I can't lie. It seems a bit personal even. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But no, other than that, I mean, Wales, they have a lot less choice in England. They'll be pretty much the same same players that everyone's used to. Bale, Dan James, Brock, because he's fit now. Ampadu, Ben Davies, Joe Allen, Aaron Ramsey. Like, there isn't as much of a debate with Wales, I guess you could say. We kind of know our squad.
Yeah, I mean, you pick sort of thing, should be a good start. I think Wales done really well after late, qualified for Europe as well. But what's the situation with Ryan Giggs? What is the latest of Ryan Giggs? What's happening to him?
God, it's a tough one for me to talk about that because it's
yeah.
So we got Robert Page go to the Euros. We know that. For anyone who doesn't know, Ryan Giggs, he's been charged with domestic abuse of 2 women, I believe. So serious, very serious. And as long as that's continuing, Wales won't have anything. They won't be drawing attention to themselves by taking Giggs to the Euros. So not exactly sure what's happening with that at the moment, if I'm honest. But for that reason, we got Robert Page, who was the assistant, as the coach for the Euros. So we'll have to see what happens with Giggs, and I mean, he's been charged. So if that turns out the way people expect it to, he'll be, he won't be in a job for Wales anymore. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, I think he'll be gone. I think he's done. And, we can't speak too much about it until the court case goes through. So sorry if I did ask that question. And
no, mate, it's fine. Sorry, it's fine.
I forgot about that. There you go. I've got a question for you. Jatin, is Norgard still in, Jad? He used to play for Fiorentina, by the way.
I don't. If I'm trying to remember the second leg, obviously there was. I think he went down. I think he got subbed off, if I'm remembering right. But I don't know. I think he's fit. I don't believe he's injured at all. He came back a few weeks ago, towards that end part of the season, and he was trying to get fitness. And yeah, but I think he should be fully fit for Saturday, unless something's happened in training that we don't know about. Yeah, he should be fully fit for Saturday.
Yeah, let's hope so. I've got and Andy Ruda as well. We're obviously more attacking, but Dalsgaard is more experienced and are very good in their own aspects. It's fair enough. And I'm just going to go up a minute because and I've got Leila as well. Or Leila. Could Brentford be the next Leeds if they go up?
It depends on what sense. If it's the Leeds that'll be stuck in the Championship for 10, 15 years, then hopefully not. But if it's the Leeds that are playing, they're playing right now, then hopefully. But you know what? It's hard. I'd be very, very silly to compare Thomas Frank to Marco Bielsa. Bielsa's in terms of coaches, he's up there with Pep as the best in the league. When Pep rates people consider Pep as the best manager in the league and coach, whatever. Pep rates Bielsa that highly. So if people rate Pep, Bielsa's different levels of coaching in terms of his ability. So yeah, I think I'd be very, very surprised because Bielsa's got a monstrous coaching ability that's turning maybe average-ish players into quality. And you know what, that Leeds side maybe under a normal manager may be struggling for relegation, but obviously Bielsa's getting the absolute best out of them. And you know what, fair play to him. And I think if we do go up, obviously going up would be the main aim. And obviously if we could replicate anything like Leeds, then brilliant. But obviously you're talking about two very, very different coaches and two very massive difference in ability.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Let's fingers crossed. I mean, let's hope they could be years before they get to Leeds, but it's a bigger club, but you just never know. If they both meet together, that'll be a cracking game, I can guarantee you. I'm going to leave later questions until after I read this one. I got Neruda. Neil's at halftime. We remember Ben talked about the Swansea City game, and he said Palmer gave penalty away. Then Palmer scored from the corner. Then Woodman showed his liabilities. Talking of Freddie Woodman, how impressed are you? He's our lone keeper.
Oh, no, any Newcastle fans, you've got a brilliant player. I mean, it's a shame. Well, it's not really a shame. It's a nice problem to have. You've obviously got Dubravka, Darlow and Woodman, so it's three incredible keepers. I'm just interested to see what happens in the summer. I mean, if Swansea win the playoff final now, I wouldn't be surprised if we try and buy Woodman and we'd actually have the funds to. So that's a possibility. If Swansea don't win, however, I mean, I think Woodman's got 2 years left in his deal this summer. Would Newcastle loan him up for a third year in a row? I think I'd struggle with that, if I'm honest. I think it gets to the point where you're going to keep loaning them out. His value isn't really going to increase any more than it's already at. You either got to use him or sell him at some point, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm afraid you have to. He's got 1 year left on his contract. And the worrying thing is we got Darlow. I think Darlow will be sold at the end of the season. I think he'd be gone. And let's hope that Woman can come in and do a good job for Newcastle. But Dubravka is just playing outstanding football in a minute to make some canny saves. And without Dubravka, and I think Newcastle would have been in big, big trouble. But listen, at the end of the day, I mean, Freddie Woodman can learn from him, and fingers crossed he'll do the business. So
yeah,
it'll be a lot of money, Woodman, if he does score. By the way, he'll not come cheap.
I know. This is why if we don't get promoted, I know there's no chance of a purchase because Swansea really don't have anywhere near enough the money required. I mean, I guess the only saving grace for us possibly is if they kind of know, and if kind of public knowledge isn't going to be first choice, then is how much can you command for a keeper that isn't first choice, I suppose. But no, I mean, look, 24 English. If he gets a run of games in the Premier League with Newcastle, especially, his value will skyrocket. It really will. I do believe he'll be good enough to play in the Premier League. I think he's probably about good enough now. He's got a bit of a contrast in style to a usual keeper. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean by that, but no, he is very good in his own way, and I think he's mature beyond his years as well. So no, he's a very good player. I'd love to have him back if we could.
Yeah, well, if any happens to the broadcast sort of thing, you just never know. So yeah, I mean, if he signs a new 5-year deal and then he can have him for a season, that's no problem at all. So I've got Leila again. How much do you think that Silva's worth?
Well, to be fair, he's on crutches right now, so probably nothing. But obviously, if he's fit and playing, you could. It's hard to say. If I've seen the figures, Buendia is going around 40 million, and that's a very good debate. Obviously, Buendia and De Silva. Obviously, Buendia's third most chances created in the Prem when he was there. So obviously, I think it'd be a very, very harsh comparison. But I think with his contract, and I think obviously being English, you get 10 million plus just for him being English. I reckon you get 35 million for him, 30 million.
Yep. Fair enough. If you get up and he does the business stuff in, this Rocket is value Rocket. Hopefully, he needs to get fit first, like you said. So, wish him all the speedy recovery. So, I've got Leila again. He likes the championship, doesn't she? To be fair, Cabano and Goody are rock solid. We just discussed that. And I've got Happy Fit again. Honestly, NFC have got MEH under 23 squad, but other teams that's worse. From Liverpool, Sean Wilson's bad. From Blackpool, Mike Oxmill, terrible. And from Spurs, Keon Eteti isn't great in his opinion. So, wow. Don't know a lot about those names on Monty, but on Twitter, it's not the greatest. Let's be real about it. So you, Ben, give us Grimes and we're good mates.
No chance. No chance.
Wow.
Funny.
Wow. No chance. He's got a cracking goal, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he's going to either someone going for automatic promotion in the same league or Premier League. Yeah, obviously I know he's joking, but Matt Grimes again, brilliant player.
Is he just? How old is he anyway, Matt Grimes?
Oh, was he now 25? I think he is. Yeah, he's not really a youngster anymore. He's getting into his prime days now. And it's good to see because he is. He's captain now. The fact that go back 3 years ago, it looked like he was going to be shipped out because he won't be able to get in the team, and now he's captain. No, it's been a brilliant journey for him the last few seasons with us.
I'm fantastic. I was still laughing at Andy said give us Grimes. I'm still laughing. No chance, no last. Where's Jack Harrison? He's at Leeds United.
Yeah.
I've got Lee again with a dream. I've got Claire. Come on, Wales. Yeah, she's Welsh. Welsh and proud. She's lovely, by the way. Big up John Sinclair. Jeez, I hope you're canny, mate. Absolutely canny. So I got no guy got injured in the warm up. I thought, mate. Rosalev came in then. Rosalev? Is he good?
Yeah. So I remember now. I think my memory of that second leg is actually quite poor because, I remember before the game, there was obviously we were all shocked because Rico Henry wasn't in the squad. And then 20 minutes later, they tweet out Norgard got injured. We haven't heard. Thomas has not said anything since, I don't believe, whether his injury is keeping him out the final. I think it was just a strain. I think it was just, something he didn't want to risk. So I think he may, obviously tomorrow we'll find out. And obviously tomorrow I think he should be fine, but we've not suggested otherwise. But I think, I think he should be fine. And then Roslev, obviously he's a youngster for us, came in a right back. We had to change formation, I think, and everything. And he did very well for us. And, he had an incredible performance that day. And especially coming in so late into the side. So he's a youngster, probably for the future. And he did very well when he came into the squad.
Fantastic. I mean, still got Tom on the side there, sort of thing, I mean, you could do a couple of breath of play for Newcastle, by the way. And a couple of Swansea, especially Newcastle as well. I got Lele again. Why is Sergi Canos so underrated?
Canos is another divisive figure in our fan base. You either love him or you hate him. His ability is there. I think he does have ability, but I think he's very inconsistent in showing that ability. I think the first leg he was inconsistent, gave the ball away, but the one thing you can't deny with Canos is that he has the passion and drive for Brentford. But obviously, passion and drive is one thing, ability is the second thing. And Canos has that passion, but sometimes his ability lets him down. There's been some games in the season where he's not been as great, and I think fans are getting him onto it for that. And I think, he is definitely there's definitely a hate-love relationship between some of the fans with him, and I think I wouldn't say he's underrated. I don't know. I think there's a very mixed. It depends on how you see it. If you put passion and drive in front of all ability, then you'll consider him underrated. But if you consider ability more than passion for the club, then you consider him overrated. So he's a very much a divisive figure in our fan base. But I think if he gets consistency there, he's a good part of our squad. If we do go up, I wouldn't want to see him seen. I wouldn't want to see him sold. I'd rather keep him in the squad, and he's a nice character to have around. But he was never. I don't think he's a first team player for us, in my opinion. Anyway, with all our players there, I don't think he's a first team player. But he's a very divisive figure in our team.
Yeah, I mean, I watched him against us, sort of thing, and I thought he looks tricky, he looks skillful. So I do like him, and he's quick. So, and going to talk about Ivan Toney in a minute. Your key player, and I got Layla again. If Brentford go up, you should sign Dan Juma. Have you heard of Dan Juma? Anyone from Bournemouth?
Yeah, Arnaut Danjuma for Bournemouth. Brilliant
Yeah.
players. Just do Brentford pay that much? I guess. I mean, Premier League money maybe, but Bournemouth they'd be asking a lot for him because he's a brilliant player.
Yeah, he's such highly rated, that guy. He's one of the better players, if you know what I mean. And he's just a cracking player. And he's sort of player I have in my team as well. And yeah, just you talked about IU as well, on your key player sort of thing. I'm going to talk about Ivan Toney as well. I know it's a daft question. How good? We know he's a fantastic player. How good can he be? Do you think he's good enough to play for the top 6? Will he do it in the Premier League? Or will he just come shot to him? I think it'd be good.
It depends. I think the one thing with Tony is that he's a poacher, and the thing with it is that I don't think he would join if he joins a top 6 team. That if he does get the service there, he is very good. Obviously, some of the games recently, towards the end of it, when he was trying to break the record, you can see there are signs of his game where he's a little bit weak. I think sometimes he needs a few chances. Sometimes he's inconsistent with his finishing. And I think if he did join, let's say, like a Brighton, where maybe not a Brighton because Brighton do create chances. If he went to a team where they don't create as many chances, I think he would struggle because he can be clinical at times, but obviously if he's not on it, then it will be a struggle. So it depends what team he joins. If he does join a team like Brighton, I think he could do very well because they create a lot of chances, and you know what, I could put faith in him to finish that. And I think his record speaks for himself in the Championship. You know, one of the breaks the record in terms of the EFL Championship. Obviously, in terms of whole second division history, there's other players above him. But yeah, he's been brilliant for us, and you know what, I think we wouldn't be in a spot without him. And yeah, it's phenomenal. I think I said before the Premiership is different, and I think depending on what team he joins, if he joins like a Burnley or a Newcastle, I think he'll struggle because you know what, in reference to that, they don't make many chances, so it's hard for him to take that one chance if he gets them because he needs those abundance of chances at times. But I think if he joins like a Brighton where chances are there, well, obviously they don't have the striker to do so, but I think he could do well. But it just depends on what team he joins, I think, for that.
I think if you don't go up, I think the perfect club for him, for me, would be Brighton. You just mentioned that because Brighton needs a goal scorer badly. They've been so impressive on the Graham Potter as well, right? And the thing is, I mean, we played them twice. We got beat 3-0 twice. It could have been a lot more good. But at the end of the day, when you played them at the Amex, we just couldn't let go of them at all whatsoever. If Brighton can get a decent striker, such a Tony, someone clinical like Tammy Abraham, I think Brighton would be top 10. They'd be top 10, no problem whatsoever, because they got a canny manager in Graham Potter, who I love to have, by the way, at Newcastle. But they've got everything there. It's geared up. It's geared up for the Premier League. It's geared up for everything, that club. And they're very, very ambitious. The same cannot be said about us as well, I'm afraid. But like I said, it is what it is. And also for Swansea as well. I mean, you got Jamal Lowe as well. He came from Wigan. He cost, what, £3 million? Wigan?
No, I think he cost us 800k. He did cost Wigan £3 million to get him from Portsmouth, though.
Yeah. And he looks like, I watched your game on Saturday against Barnsley, and you look really good. I mean, Barnsley are a physical team that can just get the ball forward very, very quickly, and they press you as well. But Jamal Lowe's got bags of pace, he's skillful, and I'm very impressed with this kid. Really am.
No, I mean, he's an interesting player, you know, but he's got a partnership with IU up front, different player to IU, obviously. And even though he's 27, he's a bit raw in some aspects of his game. You know, sometimes he has a bit of a heavy first touch, for example. You know, he's a confident striker, definitely, as well. You know, I think he's bagged about, I think it's 11 or 12 goals this season. Most of them came in the space of about, I think it was about 2 months. He went on a run of about 7 goals in 7 games. And then he had a couple, you know, stints where I think he had about 15 games without a goal. Like that's the sort of player he is. He does a lot off the ball that goes unnoticed. You know, he's a brilliant presser of the ball, puts the opposition backline under a lot of pressure. You know, and that can lead to us winning the ball back high up the pitch, and we capitalize on those situations. Very quick, like you say. You know, fairly good holding the ball up as well. Not that that's really sort of his role. We're looking to get him on the last man in behind, but yeah, definitely want to look out for on Saturday. And I think the fact that, you know, opposition sometimes worry so much about IU, they do forget about Lowe, give him a bit of space and he can hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good. I just say I like watching him play. He's quite skillful. I do like him, and he can cause a lot of problems, sort of thing. I mean, I hope Wayne Routledge is fit as well. He's 36 now, isn't he? He's 36. You had him at Newcastle United.
He's just done his ACL. Wayne Routledge. He's just done his ACL in the second leg. He did. So he's going to be out for the final. He would have started otherwise, which is a shame. Wow. But yeah, it is a massive shame. That could be him retiring, unfortunately, because he's out of contract in a couple of weeks, and it's like at 36. If you have an ACL, do you have the drive to keep going? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, let's hope he comes back. You should speedy recovery as well. And yeah, I mean, I do like Wayne Routledge. I mean, we had him at Newcastle. He's been a bit unlucky because he didn't get much in the team. But sorry, so yeah,
it's okay.
And I've got a question. If I got a question for you, no, yeah. Question for you: if Brentford don't go up, sign Clark Harris as Tony's replacement, would you take that, Jamie?
Yeah, I think Peterborough becoming our feeder club for a bit, with obviously Tony and now Clark Harris. I think, yeah, he'd be a brilliant signing. And obviously, I think if we do go up, I think maybe we would be looking for different signings than Clark Harris. We may still get Clark Harris, but if in the Prem, obviously, for me, if we go up to the Prem, we may need more experience than obviously youngsters, because whilst we're brilliant at signing youngsters, some of our downfalls at times is when we've signed youngsters, but they've got no experience. That they come to the tough parts of the season, but they won't have any experience to do so. They'll get to they'll get to a big game, a big clash at the top of the table, and you know what, we haven't got any experience. That this is this is one of the first big games for most of these players. So yeah, I definitely think if we do go up, our main aim would be to get experience rather than youngsters again.
Yeah, let's hope that's the thing so far. I don't know a lot about this guy, but I heard he's really good and he's a young lad, and let's hope he keeps going and going, sort of thing. And yeah, so just go talk about your Brentford tactics as well. From Thomas Fagg, he loves to play theatre back. And do you think he's going to choose an unchanged team from the one he played against Bournemouth, or do you think he's changeable?
It depends on the tomorrow. Obviously, he'll reveal who's fit and who's not. If he, I think he may keep not the exact same team. I think he'll probably play the team he was going to play against Bournemouth in the second leg, but obviously with Norgard back in there. But obviously, I think it depends on who's back. If Rico Henry's back, then I think he'll revert back to a back four. Obviously, 4-3-3 is what's done us most of the season, but I think it just depends on the personnel. And I think either way, I think tomorrow, the Saturday game will probably come down to one. I think it'll be one goal in it. I don't think the tactics will make a difference entirely. Obviously, tactics are important, but I don't think the tactics will be that massive that, it's going to change the game. I think in the end, it'll just be who can deal with the nerves on the day and what players are up for and who's not. And I think that's going to be it. And I think if the personnel's right, then I think he'll probably will go back with a back four for that. And then obviously, if we trying to see out a lead, hopefully we have a see out a lead, then probably use that back three to hit Swansea on the counter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just he's flexible in his tactics, Thomas, isn't he? And he plays 4-3-3 theatre back, and yeah, I mean, it's all about getting the personnel right. And Ben, same question for you. I mean, you play 4-3-3. Does he ever play theatre back, or does he just keep to 4-3-3?
Yeah, I mean, for most of the season, we played three at the back, actually, and it was an extremely defensive shape. It's, three centre-backs, and we had three quite functional midfielders sitting in front. So you kind of had that block of six, which made it extremely difficult for teams to break us down. We relied on the wing-backs. We had Connor Robson, Jake Bidwell at wing-backs most of the season, and then Andre Ayew and Jamal Lowe up front for most of our goals. And while that worked for a while and we were actually in an automatic promotion race, it did get to a point where we become extremely easy to beat. So it's a bit of a weird one. We were playing three at the back and switched to 4-3-3 because we were on a bad spell. And then Brentford were playing 4-3-3, went on a bad spell, switched to three at the back. So we kind of swapped formations mid-season. But no, we're probably going to be playing 4-3-3 again for the final, just because it has seen an uptake in performances and results. But wouldn't be surprised if Brentford did the same, because then you're basically coming down to which 4-3-3 is better, I think. And honest answer probably is Brentford, is the truth of it. So that's how I'd be looking at it if I was Thomas Frank. We'll definitely be going 4-3-3. Swansea will, I think, anyway. So that's how I see it going.
Yeah, it's going to be very tactical. I see it 4-3-3s, I think, and I just hope it's going to be a good game, because the last couple of games I watched on the playoffs, it hasn't been that great. I mean, I watched the game between Huddersfield and Reading a couple of seasons ago where we got promoted, and I thought both teams were going to go off. I thought it was going to be like 2-0, 3-0, with Huddersfield winning 4 goals to 3. And the game stand the place. I just did not enjoy the game whatsoever. I just went to penalties sort of thing. So I just hope that both teams go out there, give it a right go, and it's going to be tough. And just bash it up But personally, I can't see it. I think it's going to be tactical in that game. He's going to crack first, I say.
Yeah, it's going to be tight the whole way, I think, because I think that's the way Swansea are going to make it. I think we'd be foolish to make it an open game, if I'm honest, because that's where Brentford thrive. And the truth is, a lot of our games this season, we've won because we've kept it tight and we've nicked a goal. That's how we've got here, so I can't really see how that's going to change.
Do you agree with that, Jatin?
Yeah, I think it'll be tight. I think in the end, it will be a tight affair because I think the occasion will be there. There's fans there, and obviously, I think it's going to be it's going to be their first game in front of fans. Where it's a big occasion. Obviously, it's going to be tough, and I think it'll be tense. And I think he was saying it right. If it's an open affair, tactically you'd be very naive to play very open against Brentford because yes, you may be able to get 2-3 goals, but do you really want to play open football when you have Ivan Toney there? I don't think I would take my chance of that. But in the end, it'll be a tight affair. If I make my predictions, obviously my thoughts, I think there'll only be 1 goal in it. I don't think there'll be much in it. And I think hopefully that 1 goes towards us. But I think it'll be a 1-goal game. I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the closer I see the game, the closer I'm thinking about it. I mean, the ball's going to be like a 1-goal game, but it's going to be very, very close. Tight, very close. I've got Truls Swain, Newcastle fan here, John. Yeah, good. I'm absolutely fine. Just having a good time with the 2 lads. Talk about Championship football as well. So, what do you think? What do you think of the Championship league? Do you think it's exciting? Do you think it's brutal? Do you think it's I've got to spend the question as well. Do you think it's fun, brutal, tough, hardest league to get out of the league?
Who first? Me, is it?
Yeah.
I think this year, excuse me. I think this year the quality of it's gone down a bit. If I'm honest, I think the gap between the Premier League and the Championship's growing a little bit, and I think the teams that have parachute payments are having more and more of an advantage compared to previous years. I mean, just go back a few years ago. I think Stoke came down. They spent about £50 million on incomings, and they finished like 16th or 14th. That's how strong the league was that year. But we've lost a lot of good teams to the Premier League. I think a lot of teams, especially because of COVID, they've been struggling to really pay the bills, let alone, be smart recruitment-wise and bring in quality players. So that's a negative effect. I do hope that that can reverse and we can get back to it. But what it is, it's a league where a lot of the teams focus more on defense and attack this year. I think it's been like one of the all-time lows for goals scored. And I know it's not really what fans want to hear because the Championship has all these connotations of being end-to-end, anything can happen. And, for the most part, it has been true. I think just this year has been a bit of an exception, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a hard league. It's a brutal league to get out. If you get down there, you haven't got a clue that it's going to be very, very tough. Do you agree with that one, Janice? I mean, is it a tough league? Do you think it's brutal? Or
Yeah, I think it's obviously tough because you've got 3 teams coming up from League One and 3 teams coming down from the Premiership, and you have all these new teams, all these new dynamics. And I think, you can see teams like you mentioned Reading. Reading went from playoff finals and now they're, struggling to keep their best talent. They did have a good resurgence this season, but obviously they fell off a bit. Birmingham City, the same. They were good and then they fell off a bit. And I think, there are teams starting to climb back up and, it's a very mixed league. And obviously it just depends on if you get the right recruitment, right manager, and you have a good run at it. And I think, I definitely agree. The quality this season hasn't been the best. Maybe that's because fans haven't been there or that's just because of COVID. But yeah, definitely, it's a very exciting league. And obviously, if we touch wood, we go up this on Saturday, I will miss watching Championship game because there is a lot of excitement in there. And the games sometimes can be amazing to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I quite enjoy the Championship as well, but I would like to be in it itself. But it's very, very brutal, very tough. And it's going to be so exciting next season as well. So I got Andy again. If it's a 1-goal game, Swansea will win it.
I mean, I hope so. I think in that instance, we probably won't deserve it. But
he's not giving Brentford a chance in a minute, is he? So he's a wind-up merchant, who's a great lad sort of thing as well. So, yeah, I mean, just going to go on our predictions as well. I'm going to start with you, Ben. What do you think the prediction's going to be?
Like I said, it'll probably be a tight game. Like Jatin said, it could well be a 1-0 either way. Personally, I'm leaning more towards like a 1-1, then going into extra time. And then, extra time's unpredictable. You probably back Brentford more over 120 minutes, but it could well end up going to pens. And then pens is just a complete lottery, is the truth of it. You saw the United Villarreal game last night, 21 of them scored in a row. When does that ever happen? Penalty shootouts are very unpredictable. But yeah, I'm thinking 1-1, if not a Brentford win inside 90 minutes.
Wow, fair enough. And I've got good news for you, Janet, as well. That time he's going to give you a chance. So
yeah, I think in 90 minutes, if it's in a night, I believe it will end in 90 minutes. I don't think it'll go to extra time. I believe that he said that Swansea would like to keep it compact. If they keep it as an open game, we'll thrive on it. If they keep it compact, Wembley's a massive pitch, so I hope that Brentford keep ourselves in the game, keep it compact, and obviously hopefully get Swansea chasing us. And then when they tie, it's all springing on them. But I think, yeah, as I said, it'll probably be 1 goal in it, and I think it'll end in 90 minutes. I don't think it'll go the distance.
Cool. Are you guys going to the game? The match? Are you going to the match? You're going to the match. You both go to the match. And what I was going to say as well, tickets, they're only giving you 4,000 tickets for the game each. I think that's absolutely awful, that. But I can understand the COVID sort of thing, etc. But they could have given more tickets. Like Leicester and Chelsea had, 22,000 in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a last-minute increase of 1,000 per team because of an NHS thing, but even then, yeah, there's still only 10,000 actual fans there. They're talking about Wembley possibly being full in less than a month for the Euros. So, yes, it gets quite political when you start talking about that. But yeah, it is a bit crazy when you look at it like that. And they were planning on having the Champions League there on the same day with 25k fans. So it's a bit of a joke when you look at it that way.
It certainly is not the best in a minute, but it is what it is. And you say he's going to get put to political. Whatever we see it, they're not going to listen. It is what it is. So I got Judy. Hi, Judy. Hope you're okay. They're not playing until Saturday, Judy. So there's no game tonight. But she's lovely, Judy, and she's a great one, sort of thing. So yeah. So I was going to better wrap up on that one because I don't want to keep you too long. But I know you two lads are just so nervous, I can tell, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I got, totally agree there. But all I can say is, I'll be watching the match on Saturday. It's going to be very, very close. But if I'm a better man, hard to go Swansea. But I just think Brentford will find a way. I'm going to say 1-0 to Brentford. Sorry, Ben. But
it's all right.
I'm just going to think Brent's going to win that game because I think they got a lot to prove. Last season, got to Wembley. And like you said earlier on, Jatin, they were a little nervous and stuff like that sort of thing. They caught them out a little bit. But listen, I think you'll be fine. And it's just going to be fun and game sort of thing. So, tight game. And just going to talk quickly about Newcastle United sort of thing, right? You finished 12th this season, and I don't know if you've watched Premier League a lot. Are you impressed with Newcastle this season on this debriefs?
No. Short answer.
No.
Not position-wise, of course. Yeah, position-wise. But I think Swansea this year has been a bit of a tough watch sometimes style of play, and the very few times I've tuned in for Newcastle, it's been even worse than that, unfortunately. And I think he will keep grinding the Premier League survival month over and over again. But I guess to a point where you're like thinking, Newcastle's a huge club, huge history, and it's like, do you want more than just surviving over and over again with quite a boring, direct style of play? Do you want more than that? And I think the honest answer for most fans would be yes. So I don't know. I can't see him getting sacked or anything, but if change does come, I hope they'll look for a more long-term strategy that sees excitement. I think is the bottom line. Is the word I think Newcastle fans probably want.
Yeah, we don't want Champions League. We don't want to win the title. But what I want to see is have a go at the cups, like the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. I want to see them having a go at that, and hopefully win a trophy. Because we haven't won a trophy since 1969. We haven't won the Premiership, the title in 1927. So it's a long damn time. But we as fans deserve much better because we got owner Mike Ashley. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care what a club is like. He's just so happy spending minimal and just to keep ourselves up. He'd be happy finishing 17th for every season. Is that what I want? We as a club have want more than that. I'll be in the top 10. We got a top 10 team at Newcastle United. Do you know what I mean? But we've got a manager who's been toured don't finish above top 10. And that's why we lost 1 in 20. We only won 2 games in 21, 22. And I think that's absolutely shocking. It really, really is. And same goes to you, Jatin, before I go on to Mbeno.
Well, for first Newcastle, I think, yeah, as you said, it's just disappointing because, you have such a big fan base and, you have such a loyal, dedicated fan base, a big stadium. So you should expect them to do more. But I think all clubs have the issues of, maybe how the directorship of how football clubs are run. And I think, fans always want the best, but obviously the owners may have different plans. And obviously maybe Mike actually does love Newcastle. We won't never know unless we ask him. And hopefully, one day he will open up and say, what does he have plans for Newcastle? But I think, yeah, it just depends on what he wants to do with it. And Mbeumo, last season, he was a part of one of the best front threes in the league that season. Obviously, unreal. This season, he's fallen a bit off, but I put in a down mold to that. He went from having 2 of his friends in the front 3 to having 2 different new players, 2 players that he's maybe not mixed with as much. So, and obviously he's going from a system where he can go in and out of the front 3 to one where he has to stick way on the right side and he has to just deliver crosses into Tony. So I think he's struggled in the change of, the tactics and everything, but I think he's still got a lot of ability in him. And I think we definitely need, if we want to win on, he showed that ability against Bournemouth in the second leg. And in the first leg when he came on, and I think if we want to win in the final, Mbeumo will definitely have to show his good quality.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll be watching that game on Saturday as well, so that'd be a fantastic game. So yeah, done the Brentford, Swansea, Newcastle chat all in as well. But listen, I'm going to wish you guys the best of luck. And before I let you guys go, I've got to ask this question. I ask everybody: did you enjoy coming on my show, Lenny?
Of course, I did. Loved every minute of it, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's nice to talk about football. Obviously, always going to talk about football.
It is. It's nice to have a lads chat as well, sort of thing as well. But guys, you're always welcome to come back on. And whoever wins the game, I wish you the best luck in the Premier League. And because you both fantastic clubs, and I hope you both deserve it. And before I let you go, I got one more comment from Geordie. Hope you could. Actually, plans for Newcastle was to use the club as a way to advertise its brands, and he keeps saying how we cannot compete with Saudi's American-run clubs. Well, what it is, right? I mean, we're in the middle of the takeover, right? And it's going to arbitration. If you guys haven't even know about it, it's released to go in July. Ashley wants to sell the club. The Saudis wants to buy the club, yeah. And basically, the Premier League are stopping it because they do not want us to be competing with the Big Six. That's as well documented. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to arbitration. They're saying that the Saudis walked away last year. They haven't walked away at all whatsoever, sort of thing. The Premier League asked the fans to go to arbitration. They say we take it on, and I believe the takeover will happen because the Premier League will be absolutely embarrassed in court because we've got the best lawyer, Nick DeMarco, and he's going to do all the work. If you didn't think you got a chance of winning it, you would not take it on. But I do believe that Newcastle are going to be our wealthiest club in Europe if we do get taken over. And we as fans deserve big things. So, and thanks for that comment there, Geordie. And listen, guys, thank you very much for coming on. And wish you all the best of luck on Saturday. May the best team win. And good luck to you, Ben. Good luck to you, Jatin. And yeah, it's going to be fun. And thank you very much for coming on. And definitely chat to you again soon.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.